Imagine a vast, icy battlefield where the frozen expanse of snow and the biting cold create a dramatic stage for an epic confrontation between two legendary big cats, the Siberian tiger and the Barbary lion. In this wild hypothetical scenario, we explore what would happen if these apex predators clashed on a snow-covered terrain. On one side, the Siberian tiger, a creature perfectly adapted to the harsh, snowy environments of the Russian taiga, stands poised with muscular grace and instinct honed for winter survival. On the other side, the Barbary lion, a majestic symbol of power from North Africa. Known for its massive build but not naturally suited to wintry conditions, faces an environment that is as challenging as it is unforgiving. In this analysis, we delve into the factors that would determine the outcome of such a battle, examining each animal's physical capabilities, speed, strength, and tactical approach within a frozen landscape. The Siberian tiger is a marvel of evolution, sculpted by the relentless forces of nature to survive in extreme cold. Its thick, luxuriant fur acts as a natural insulator, trapping warmth even in sub-zero temperatures. In addition, this tiger boasts a layer of fat beneath its skin that further protects it against the frigid environment. Its large, powerful paws, often compared to snowshoes, help it traverse deep snow without sinking, allowing it to maintain agility even on slippery, icy surfaces. Over generations, the Siberian tiger has developed not only physical attributes that enable it to endure the winter but also behaviors that take advantage of its snowy domain. It moves silently over the snow, using the environment as camouflage to ambush prey that is less adapted to the cold. When pouncing, it relies on explosive power and quick reflexes that have been fine-tuned by countless hunts in the snowy wilderness. Its hunting tactics are as much about exploiting the terrain as they are about its own innate strength. The tiger uses the shadows and swirling snow to confuse and surprise its target, ensuring that its approach remains stealthy and lethal. In stark contrast, the Barbary lion, once the dominant big cat of North Africa, evolved in a vastly different environment. North African climates, particularly those inhabited by the Barbary lion, were typically arid or semi-arid, with wide open savannas and rocky outcrops rather than heavy, snow-laden forests, while the Barbary lion was renowned for its impressive size, formidable strength, and social prowess within a pride. Its physical adaptations are less suited to the bitter cold, with a relatively short coat and less insulating body fat compared to its Siberian cousin. The Barbary lion would find the challenges of a snowy battlefield particularly daunting. The lion's robust, muscular frame and powerful build give it an undeniable advantage in direct physical combat under normal conditions. However, the open, cold environment might work against it by sapping its energy and reducing its agility. The Barbary lion's movements, typically graceful and controlled in the sunlit plains, may become labored and less precise when forced to navigate the slick, unpredictable surfaces of a snowy field. Moreover, its lack of specialized adaptations for cold weather means that it would expend a great deal of energy simply maintaining its core temperature, leaving it at a disadvantage in a prolonged confrontation. When considering speed, the Siberian tiger possesses an inherent advantage in its native environment. Its powerful hind limbs are built for bursts of explosive speed, enabling it to leap across snowbanks and cover considerable distances in search of prey. The tiger's agility is not compromised by the deep snow, thanks to its evolved paw structure and light, yet muscular build. Even in a battle scenario, the tiger would be able to use its speed to outmaneuver an opponent, striking quickly and retreating just as fast to avoid counterattacks. In contrast, while the Barbary lion is undeniably strong, its movements are more deliberate and less nimble compared to the tiger's rapid, fluid motion. In an environment where the terrain is constantly shifting with every gust of wind and every patch of ice, speed and the ability to change direction quickly become crucial factors. The tiger's capacity to dart through the snow and exploit fleeting opportunities would allow it to strike with surprising effectiveness, whereas the lion's bulkier frame might hinder its ability to make such rapid adjustments. Physical strength is another critical factor in determining the outcome of this snowy showdown. The Barbary lion's muscular build, honed by the demands of life in the African savanna, is designed for brute force. Its powerful jaws and claws are built to take down large prey. And its sheer size often intimidates opponents in close combat. However, strength must be considered alongside the environment in which it is applied. In the cold, slippery conditions of a snowy battlefield, raw power can sometimes become a liability if it is not paired with the necessary agility and balance. The tiger, though it may be slightly smaller in overall size compared to the Barbary lion, compensates with a refined blend of strength and agility that is perfectly suited to its wintry domain. Its muscles are engineered for explosive power, allowing it to deliver lethal blows even on uneven, slippery surfaces. Furthermore, the tiger's stealth and precision mean that its strength is concentrated in well-executed strikes rather than a constant, unmodulated display of force. This focused application of power could prove decisive in a one-on-one confrontation, where every pounce and every swipe is measured against the backdrop of a challenging environment. Tactically, the battle between the two would be a study in contrasting strategies. The Siberian tiger, honed by a life of solitary hunting, would rely on stealth, speed, and the element of surprise. Its tactics would involve using the snowy terrain to its advantage, hiding behind large boulders, moving silently through dense clusters of trees, and exploiting the blinding glare of sunlight reflecting off the snow to confuse its opponent. The tiger's approach would be to isolate a single, vulnerable target from the Barbary lion's ranks and to strike swiftly before retreating into the cover of the snow. This hit-and-run strategy minimizes exposure to prolonged combat and maximizes the tiger's ability to exploit its unique adaptations. In contrast, the Barbary lion, with its natural inclination for group behavior, might be more accustomed to direct confrontation. However, in a solitary battle against a solitary tiger on snow, its usual tactics of charging and overpowering may be less effective. The lion's strategy would likely need to be adjusted for the environment. It might adopt a more cautious approach, relying on its massive strength to absorb and counter any sudden attacks. The lion's defensive tactics would involve positioning itself in a way that maximizes its physical advantage while limiting the tiger's opportunities to use its speed and agility. Nevertheless, the cold and slippery terrain could undermine the lion's standard approach, as each heavy step risks losing footing or becoming an open invitation for the tiger to exploit a misstep. The mental aspect of such a confrontation is equally significant. In the wild, both species have evolved not only physical adaptations but also behavioral ones that govern their interactions with prey and rivals. The tiger's solitary nature has cultivated a sharp, focused mind, adept at processing environmental cues and making split-second decisions that determine life or death. Its hunting success is as much a product of its keen senses and strategic intelligence as it is of its physical prowess. The Barbary lion, on the other hand, has been shaped by social interactions and the need to assert dominance within a pride. Its behaviors are driven by a complex social structure that rewards boldness and coordinated action. In a head-to-head duel on snow, these mental attributes would come into sharp relief. The tiger's ability to remain calm under pressure and to quickly adapt its tactics to the rapidly changing terrain could give it a decisive edge. The lion, burdened by the need to project confidence and strength, might find its mental focus compromised by the unfamiliarity of the environment, a place where the usual cues of dominance are replaced by the unpredictable challenges of ice and snow. There is also the question of endurance and energy conservation. The frigid temperatures of a snowy battlefield demand that each animal expend energy not just in combat but in maintaining its core body temperature. The Siberian tiger, with its thick coat and natural adaptations to cold weather, is designed to conserve heat and sustain its energy levels in harsh winter conditions. Every movement it makes is optimized for efficiency, ensuring that even in the midst of a high-stakes battle, it can continue to function effectively. The Barbary lion, however, is less equipped for such extreme cold. Its lighter fur and design for warmer climates mean that it would need to work harder to retain heat, potentially leading to quicker exhaustion during a prolonged fight. Over time, this difference in energy management could become a deciding factor, as the tiger's built-in adaptations for winter survival allow it to endure the physical toll of combat longer than the lion. Recorded encounters and historical data provide further insights into how these animals might perform in a snowy environment. Although the Barbary lion has been extinct in the wild for many decades, historical accounts and reconstructions of its behavior suggest that it was a powerful, formidable predator on the open plains of North Africa. However, those same accounts also hint at its limitations in adapting to environments that differ drastically from its native habitat. The Siberian tiger, in contrast, continues to thrive in the snowy forests of Russia and Siberia, a testament to its robust evolutionary design. This natural history implies that in a direct confrontation on snow, the tiger's specialized adaptations for cold and its unparalleled agility on slippery surfaces would likely give it the upper hand. Its evolutionary journey in the freezing expanse of the taiga has not only molded its physical form but also imbued it with a set of behaviors that are perfectly tailored to winter survival. A sharp contrast to a lion designed for the warm, arid plains. In a vividly animated simulation of this hypothetical battle, the audience would be treated to a spectacle of contrasting styles and adaptations. The scene would open with a panoramic view of a snowy landscape under a clear blue sky, where the crisp air and sparkling snow set the stage for an extraordinary encounter. The Siberian tiger, its fur thick and its movements fluid, emerges from the trees with the grace of a shadow gliding over the snow. Its eyes, gleaming with focus and determination, fix on the distant figure of the Barbary lion, a massive, powerful creature that appears somewhat out of place in the winter wonderland. As the two predators draw nearer, the tiger moves with a quiet confidence, each step measured to avoid slipping on the ice. In contrast, the lion's heavy steps send small puffs of snow into the air, its movements less nimble and more deliberate. The animation captures every nuance of their contrasting gaits, highlighting the tiger's swift, fluid motion against the lion's steady but cumbersome strides. As the battle unfolds, the tiger employs its signature techniques, a series of rapid, precise pounces that target the lion's vulnerable spots, using the snowy terrain to mask its approach. The scene is punctuated by moments of intense action, a quick leap here, a sudden dodge there, as the tiger utilizes every advantage its environment offers. Meanwhile, the lion tries to counter with its raw strength, attempting to use powerful charges and heavy, sweeping motions to force the tiger into a defensive position. However, the slipperiness of the snow and the biting cold slow its movements, making it vulnerable to the tiger's agile strikes. Each move is choreographed with dramatic slow-motion replays that capture the tension, the impact of every collision, and the subtle interplay of light and shadow on the snowy battlefield. Throughout the encounter, the narrative also touches on the psychological aspects of the battle. The tiger, in its element, appears calm and focused, its mind honed by years of surviving in extreme winter conditions. Its eyes reflect a deep understanding of the environment, a silent calculation of every risk and opportunity. The lion, burdened by the unfamiliarity of the cold and the inherent disadvantage of its physiology, shows signs of hesitation and fatigue. The animated sequence emphasizes the internal struggle within the lion as it fights against both external adversaries and its own limitations. The contrast between the tiger's seemingly effortless grace and the lion's heavy, labored movements becomes a powerful visual metaphor for the adaptation of nature, where specialized evolution grants one species the tools it needs to thrive in a challenging environment. In the final moments of the battle, as the two predators clash in a flurry of motion and raw energy, the outcome hangs in a delicate balance. The tiger's lithe form and agile movements allow it to weave through the lion's powerful, but slower, attacks, striking with a precision that is both breathtaking and decisive. The icy terrain, which serves as an ally to the tiger, becomes an impediment to the lion, sapping its energy and reducing the effectiveness of its brute force. In this ultimate test of survival, the tiger's natural adaptations to cold weather, its superior agility on slippery surfaces, and its refined hunting techniques coalesce into a formidable strategy that could very well allow it to dominate the encounter. Ultimately, the battle between the Siberian tiger and the Barbary lion on a snowy battlefield is a vivid illustration of the interplay between individual adaptation and environmental challenge. While the Barbary lion may have once reigned supreme in the warm, arid expanses of North Africa, its natural design and behavioral strategies are ill-suited for the harsh, frozen conditions of a snow-covered domain. The Siberian tiger, by contrast, is an evolutionary marvel specifically built to thrive in the cold. Its powerful, agile body, refined through centuries of survival in icy forests, gives it a decisive edge in such an environment. Every leap, every swipe of its claw, is imbued with the determination to overcome obstacles that would have proved insurmountable for a creature not adapted to the cold. The simulation of this hypothetical battle offers not just a spectacle of raw animal power but also a profound commentary on the adaptability of life. It challenges us to consider how evolution, environment, and behavior converge to shape the destiny of a species. The Siberian tiger's journey in the frozen wilderness is a testament to nature's capacity for innovation, a reminder that every adaptation is a response to the demands of survival. The Barbary lion, for all its historical majesty, serves as a counterpoint, a creature that, while mighty, is ultimately out of place in an environment for which it was never designed. In the end, the question of who would win in this epic snowy showdown is not merely a matter of comparing physical strength or speed. It is an exploration of evolutionary suitability. The tiger, with its finely tuned adaptations for cold weather, its exceptional balance on slippery surfaces, and its agile, calculated tactics, appears poised to claim victory in a realm where every advantage matters. The Barbary lion, despite its formidable size and raw power, would likely struggle against the relentless, ice-adapted prowess of the tiger. Their battle, as imagined in this dramatic, animated simulation, encapsulates the eternal dance of evolution, where only the most finely adapted thrive in the face of relentless environmental challenges. Ultimately, this wild hypothetical serves as a celebration of nature's incredible diversity and the specialized adaptations that allow different species to flourish in vastly different environments. It reminds us that survival is not just about strength, but about the perfect fit between an organism and its habitat, a delicate balance where even the greatest predator can be outmatched by the relentless, honed precision of another. In the snowy realm of the Siberian wilderness, the tiger stands as a shining example of nature's ability to evolve and overcome, emerging as the likely victor in an epic contest where every step, every pounce, and every heartbeat is a triumph of adaptation over adversity.